Good morning, Assassins. Here is our chicken setup. We built this back in 2012 or 13 when Tristan was a baby, so needs a little bit of work, but here we go. We have the main pen area, so if we need to lock them down, we can do that and keep them inside. We have the automatic solar controlled door to let them in and out at night. Closes in the evenings and opens in the morning. There's our dingo, aka RD, and we have 9 chickens total, 1 rooster and 8 hens. He's a California white, a couple purebred California whites. But check it out. So we got 2 gates to the main pen, 1 entry, second entry over here goes into the garden area. We originally started with this guy, the Chicken Mansion. Pretty big. They don't use it at all. The problem that we noticed with this guy was in the evenings when they would lock down, they would just stay on the outside of the box and basically just sleep up here or roost up here on top of the wood up here, and they would poop, and it was super gross. We wouldn't even use the boxes. We made this so you could lift it up and then had this all cleaned up and nice and tidy for them, but they never used it. So we wound up like converting a bookshelf and threw a couple wooden eggs in there, and they love it. They lay all their eggs and they roost in here. And I did another one over here. Just kind of threw that guy together with some scrap wood, kept it up high, and put the feed underneath. I'd like to do something different with the feed because they tend to make a mess with it. And here's our watering system. Pretty basic. We got these little DIY float bowl things and just a float level guy in there too. So that keeps the water flowing, keeps them hydrated. And then we built this little separate area within the pen for chicks, basically. So when they're transitioning from the heat lamp and like inside, we transition them out here, and yeah, that way they can grow and finish doing their thing before we introduce them into the flock. So they all kind of meet each other within that space, get used to each other, and then yeah, slowly release them to the flock, and it seems to be a pretty good transition so far. So yeah, nesting boxes. The thing about the nesting boxes is, I don't know if chickens like actually sleep or what. I've never seen a chicken sleep, but they come in here, and when they roost or when they nest, they basically relax. And when the chickens relax, they poop. So you will get like, I need to clean this out, so that's what I'm going to do today. But as they're relaxing in the evenings, they just poop more than they poop on a normal basis. But yeah, what's kind of interesting is this space where they lay the most of the eggs, they don't poop as much. But when they're sleeping at night, they like to get up in this guy and chill. So yeah, kind of interesting. But if you don't want poopy eggs and gross looking eggs, you got to keep your nesting boxes clean. That's pretty much it. Back over here, we keep our feed in a separate bin, and like this big kind of Tupperware deal here. That way it keeps like the rodents out. And then we give them some scratch. Scratch grain, keep them happy. They love it. You hear that noise our dingo's making? He's telling the other chickens like, hey, there's snacks. Come check it out. Yeah, he makes that noise whenever there's snacks. It's funny. But we keep them in these dry bins too, just to keep bugs and mice, whatever. Trying to get to it. Hi guys. And whenever I bring out the treats, I didn't do it this time, but I like to make a certain noise. like I go, and it seems to all get their attention. Hi, babies. And then they know that a treat's coming. So it's kind of a way to control your flock if you need to get them inside the pen area really quickly. Seems to work pretty effectively. Just like training a dog, I guess. Yeah, as you can see, I got to come in here and do some cleaning. Try to keep your chicken area as clean as possible. You'll get like flies in the summer, which are kind of gross if you don't keep up on it. Just get some fly traps. But yeah, use the chicken poop as fertilizer. Sometimes I'll just add it right to the base of like dormant trees, the fruit trees, whenever I clean out the nesting boxes. Otherwise, I'll throw them in the compost bins and let them chill for a few months just to cool down, because chicken manure is really hot and really high in nitrogen, so it can burn your plants. Use an old skate rail so they can hop on the rail and then hop in the boxes. They like to hop on things, and they like to get up high, and they like to roost and flap their wings. So building little perches for them to stand on, they enjoy that. Yeah, they're fun little birds though. They're always interested in what you're doing, especially if you bring snacks out consistently. They'll follow you around. Predators. Oh yeah, so once you have chickens, dude, you're gonna invite every kind of wild animal within your area to your area. So it's important, if you do have an outdoor space, like I lined the base of this with rocks. Like I literally dug it out like a foot deep and just threw old scrap concrete, river rock, anything I can find that would create a non-diggable space, because we get foxes and skunks and raccoons, freaking cats, dude. Like everything tries to get in with the chickens. So yeah, make sure your enclosure is secure. We put it underneath of this oak tree, so that way in the summertime when it gets really hot, it's a nice shaded area consistently for them, so they have a place to cool. And because we are in Redding and it gets super duper hot, sometimes we get those weeks where it's over 100 degrees, over 110. They like to come underneath the main hen house here, the chicken mansion, and just kind of chill underneath here. And this seems to be a cool space for them. So I just put in a little makeshift DIY mister situation that I got hooked up to water out here, so it keeps them nice and cool in the summer. But in the wintertime, like I said, or in general when they sleep at night, they just kind of roost where they feel comfortable. And right now they'll get inside the boxes. Some of them will go like up on top, and they'll just literally sit out in the rain. They don't care. The white ones are pretty flighty, so they would chill up in the trees. But then the foxes started picking up on it, and we lost a couple. And so I started really like making a habit of getting them inside every night, and then they seem to be doing okay now. But yeah, chickens are going to do what they want to do. They're going to sleep where they want to sleep. They're pretty resilient. They're pretty hardy. And yeah, short of like keeping their area clean, keeping their water clean, pulling your eggs on a daily basis, so that way they don't eat them, and like they'll find out that they have a new protein source. It's pretty easy for the most part. So yeah, keep your chickens happy. The happier they are, the more eggs you'll get. So if they're feeling threatened, or they're feeling terrorized, or they feel like there's chaos or stress, then they're not going to give you as many eggs. Apparently chickens have an egg life expectancy or something. Like each chicken can produce an X amount of eggs in its lifetime. So there will be a point after a couple years where some of your hens will stop laying. And then it's up to you if you want to cull the chicken or just keep feeding it as a pet. We pretty much just keep feeding them. So I have culled a couple just for experience with roosters and stuff. After we've had hatching and we get like 3 roosters, we've done some culling with that. Eggs, man, you don't even have to wash your eggs. Like, obviously if they're poopy and gross, we wash them and use them up right away. But when the chicken lays its eggs, it has a protective film on it that will keep the egg for like, I heard it's up to like 6 months or something. Once you wash that protective membrane off of your egg, then the eggs will only last up to a month in the refrigerator. So we don't wash the eggs until we're ready to eat them all together. What's up, you girls don't want to be on camera? What are we doing, chicks? What are we doing, chicks? But that's our setup. And then, like I said, we keep the gates closed at night, and their only entry exit point is the solar chicken door. And then in the daytime, they wander, and they have this whole area to basically scratch and dig for worms and bugs. Springtime's really good. We get a lot of eggs in spring because they're just like eating all the bugs and everything that comes with that. So they like scratching in the wood chip pile. So some of this stuff I kind of leave out. Call it laziness, I don't know, but they like to wander in the wood pile and look for bugs. They like to scratch around the wood pile. So like after I'm done processing all this wood, I'll probably leave most of these wood chips here because yeah, they just like, it's a natural food source for them. So got a lot of wood chips on the property. What you don't want is you don't want them in your garden because they will scratch and they will tear up everything. They'll eat all the greens in your garden as food. So I try to put fences around everywhere for the most part. They do get into this like corner garden here and scratch around, but there's not much down there besides fruit trees and some pomegranate trees or bushes. But yeah, they like getting into the wood pile too, digging for bugs and everything. But yeah, this is pretty much their free range area. And we feed them organic feed from, funny, from Costco. It's like $26 for like, I think it's like a 40 or 50 pound bag, so it's a pretty good deal. And then other than that, they just get their nutrients from a little bit of scratch grain that I give them that has like corn and other seeds. And then basically whatever kind of bugs and critters they find out here. They are like carnivorous. So they will eat their own eggs and stuff. You just have to be careful with that. Pull your eggs on a daily basis. Be consistent with it. We notice they usually lay the eggs towards, like I don't collect them until like the afternoon. So it seems like if I come out here first thing in the morning, there might be like 1 or 2 eggs, but towards the end of the day, they're pretty much done laying like around 2 or 3 o'clock. So I'll collect eggs around then. But with 9 total chickens, 1 rooster and 8 hens, we're getting about like 3 to 4 eggs a day currently. And they just came out of their molting like almost a month ago. So there's a certain period of time over the winter that they'll molt and they'll lose feathers, and you're like, what the heck is going on with my chickens? Are they dying? Like, what is going on? They stop laying eggs, but it's just a process that they go through. So once the weather gets warmer and the sun comes out, then they start laying again. So vitamin D is really important. If you get a spell of like a rainy season and it's cloudy for like weeks or foggy for a freaking month, you'll notice your egg production slows down too. So they're literally a byproduct of the environment. So if they're healthy, have good food, good snacks, they're happy, they feel safe, there's lots of sun, it's pretty decent weather, you should have happy hens and get lots of eggs. And the more time you spend with them, the more they'll trust you. And they might even let you hold them and stuff. But it's fun if you let them eat out of your hand too. They're pretty cool. They're pretty accurate with their beaks when they get their seed and stuff. But as you can see, chickens are doing what they do 90% of the time. Is they like cruising around and scratching and looking for critters. So if you guys are going to have chickens, I would definitely dedicate some time or some space for them to be able to do this. That way they're not just cooped up in one small little like 4x8 section and they're just constantly scratching and looking for treats and bugs within their own, like, I don't know, their own habitat, their own area where they poop and stuff like that. Just, I don't know. I think you'll have better tasting eggs, like depending on where you let them graze, where you let them snack. So the type of feed you feed them will determine the taste of your eggs too. If they're just eating kind of crummy stuff, you might not have as good of tasting eggs. I've heard that if you feed them like a ton of garlic, you'll get garlic eggs. But yeah, so this part of chicken's life is very important. that they're able to go around and scratch. So if you do like have a smaller backyard and you're worried about them getting over into the neighbor's area, what you can do is simply clip their wings. And it's completely harmless. It doesn't hurt them at all. And if you, maybe I'll do a video with Tristan, but if you get your chicken and you're able to hold it, you're able to open their wing out and extend their wing. They have different layers of feathers. So they have these really longer feathers that are called their flight feathers. And those are the feathers you trim. And you don't trim it all the way to the skin. You leave about an inch of the feather left. But yeah, you just cut those bad boys off. Some people will cut like one wing, like they'll cut the left wing but leave the right wing not cut. And it creates like an unstable flight that they don't like. But I usually just cut them both just so that way they're even. It'd be kind of weird if somebody like cut off my left arm and then I only had my right arm, so just cut them both off. No, just joking. You're not cutting their wings off. But then they're losing their ability to fly. So they might hop up and try to fly a little bit, but yeah, they won't be able to get up above like a 6-foot fence. So, and like I said, the white chickens tend to be the flighty ones. So if you get, you know, the multicolored barred rocks, sex links, you know, Rhode Island Reds, things like that, Orpingtons, they're not as flighty. They'll pretty much stay on the groups. The white chickens are typically the ones that fly around and they like to explore, but it could be a problem if they're getting into your neighbor's yards or your neighbor's dogs. Another thing, you'll notice chickens are kind of loud, so hopefully your neighbors are cool with that. But if your chickens are pumping out eggs, usually you can keep your neighbors happy by kicking them a little dozen or half dozen here and there. But also, you probably won't be able to have a rooster within your area. But something that we've noticed, we've only had a rooster for probably the last 3 or 4 years out of the, I don't know what, 10 or 11 years we've had chickens. The roosters change the dynamics of the chickens like substantially. It's really cool. They're actually like a legit flock. They move together. He keeps them safe from predators. If there's like tension between the chickens and they're kind of pecking at each other or fighting each other, he'll go and literally break it up. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I feel like with the rooster, it's more of a controlled environment naturally, which is really cool. But he does crow in the mornings consistently, and he'll crow throughout the day, but not as much. It's mostly in the mornings. But we've asked all the neighbors, and they don't mind it. They enjoy it, and it gives them a country feel. But the chickens naturally will do stuff like this, kind of gab and talk and bark, and yeah, so they will be a little bit noisy and a little bit smelly, but you can mitigate the smell a little bit. Yeah, that's our setup. It's not perfect. I don't think anything is. I'm not saying this is how everybody should do it, but this is kind of like what's been working for us. So we've been sticking with it and going with it, and it's been going pretty good so far. So yeah, you'll find 100 different things to improve on, and that's what's great about it, is you get to do it as a family, and they get to have some more pets and build something as a family. And it's cool that will feed you and provide you with value. So it's really cool. A good way to self-sustain and to teach your kids how to yeah, live with the earth and eat good food. What's up, our dingo? Hi. Hi, babies. This one's got puffy cheeks. Old Beardo. Yeah, hi, baby. Pretty bird. Here's another random fact. If you want to catch your chicken, like actually like grab it and hold it, do it at night when they're roosting, or when they're nesting, because they can't see at night very well. They're almost like blind apparently, and they can only see like one eye at a time. So that's why they look at you with like a side eye. They give you the bombastic side eye when they're really trying to check you out. So their vision's not very good at night. So that's the best time to capture a chicken if you're trying to catch it and trim its wings or whatnot. But yeah, cool. Enjoy.